Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the ServiceGuru Triggers add-on for ServiceM8, understand how it works and how we use it. So we're going to start off having a look at how the Triggers add-on works, and then we're going to look at how we configure it up and set it up in order for it to deliver those notifications to our customers in the way that we want. So the first thing, as per usual, we are going to go and look at a job card, and what we'll notice within our add-ons drop-down is that we have our ServiceGuru Triggers over here. So if we go ahead and open up that, what we'll notice is that I've created two already, and we're going to have a look at how those have been configured. But for now, I just want to show you how you'd activate them within the job card. When we have the add-on open over here, and you can see that you'll have a list of all of the triggers created within the system. Now, what is a trigger? A trigger is essentially something that you have set up within a job card, and this can either be a trigger based on a change within the job card. So this could be a change of status from, let's say, a quote to a work order, or the job is marked as completed. Or in this example over here, we have got two that are date-based, and so here you can see that we've got a landlord gas safety check, and we turn that on for this particular client, and then we go ahead and set the date as to when this trigger will start counting or running its schedule from. So this, once applied, is actually set up for the client itself. So over here we've got the customer as buns in the oven, or the client as buns in the oven, and when we turn on the landlord gas safety check within the job card, it actually turned it on for the client. So we can either action this through the job card itself, which we've done here, and I'll show you that exactly the same is true within the client card. So we have turned on this particular trigger, and we have set the date as today's date. Now we can also go ahead and click on this and adjust that for whatever date we want. So this could be, for example, a trigger on an installation date. So you might carry out an installation and you want to set up a notification for either some follow-up maintenance or an annual service that needs to be carried out, and it is really useful for setting that in play and having the system take care of both the type of message and the message that gets sent to the customer. So as I promised, we're just going to quickly jump back and have a look at the same settings within the client section. So if we go into clients, we can select any clients. We're going to go and open up the same one just for convenience. We go to our add-ons drop down. We can see over here we've got the triggers add-on. We open that up, and what we'll notice is that we've got that the list of the triggers that we've created, and they're turned on. If we wanted to go and turn on our message, it's been a while, we can go and turn that on as well, and we can configure the date from which we want it to start running its actions from. Okay, so that gives you a basic rundown of how we turn on the triggers within the system. Now we're going to go and take a look at how we go and set up triggers so that we can use them in such fashion. So we're going to jump over to our add-ons button at the top. We're going to go and look for our triggers icon over here, and this will open up our configuration or settings page where we can go and start building the triggers that we want. So we're going to go and have a look at two examples of the ones that I've done earlier, and then we'll just have a look at how you can really customize these triggers to work in a way that you want them to work. So we're going to take a look at the gas safety check to start, and so we're just going to pop in there to edit. And what we notice is at the top we get to name our particular trigger. So in this case we've named it the gas safety check. We've also can create a description if we want to give more details about that particular trigger. Then we're presented with a choice, and over here you can say the trigger type. Do we want it a manual date entry, which is what you saw when we turned it on? We have an option to put in a date, or do we want to have it based on a custom field date within ServiceM8 or an event within ServiceM8? We're going to leave this as it is for now, and we'll come back and look at how we can interact with those when we create a new one from scratch. We also have the option to set a condition based on a badge. So here we're saying that we want this manual date, but we also want the badge to be applied. So when we've carried out a gas safety check, and in this case we've actually used a form, and the form name is CP12. When that is turned on, then the system will trigger based on that. So we've got a conditional and a badge, and you can choose to use it or not. In this particular example, it's really convenient because we know that we've actually carried out that particular form. It is due 12 months later, and so having it turned on ensures that we're not sending them a message for something we didn't carry out. This makes sure that we have actually done that. As we move further down, we're presented with the option of what we want to send, and we have the choice of both an email or a text or SMS. And so by ticking whichever option you'd prefer or both, you can send them both an email as well as a text message based on that particular trigger. We come down to the pattern, and you can see over here that we've set that for yearly and once a year, and we want to send the message 1 month before. Because this is a compliance document over here, we want to notify them about this 1 month prior, so that they're ready to get that scheduled or booked in with ourselves within time. So just to have a review of this particular example, we've got a gas safety form that needs to be carried out, and we've set it up to trigger for 1 year after it has been carried out. And what the message will read, it will say hi there, or dear customer, and we can use the merge fields within this email space as well, the ServiceM8 merge fields. And here you can see that your gas safe the check is now due. Please give us a call to get that booked in. And of course, this message is fully customizable, so you can put in whatever you'd like. And you can also send them a text message to the same effect, so you can touch that customer twice, both email and text, and have them really drawn to whatever message you want to send them. And as I said, you can configure its pattern as to when and how that's going to send. So we're going to cancel out of that. We're going to have a look at another example, and the tool is very flexible, giving you a great range of options as to what to send to customers. So it doesn't necessarily just need to be notifications for certificates to be carried out. It can be used in a marketing sense as well. And here's an example of that. We've created one that's titled "It's Been a While," and so what this will do is we'll have a look to see whether a customer, if they haven't once a job has been created and they haven't interacted with you, the system is able to pop over a message to them, in this instance a text message, and it's from Ben saying that he hasn't spoken to them in some time, and please take a look at the latest price list. And we've put the price list into the message as well, so they can click directly from their mobile. And we've set this up as a monthly to recur on the first day of every 7 months. So if it hasn't had an interaction within that period of time, it will send that off to the customer, and we send it immediately when we see that event come around. It's just a nice way to trigger a conversation with a customer, and very useful to take an event within a job card or a client card and convert it into an action that you can sort of click and forget about. So let's go and have a look at a few of the options on how we configure. And as I mentioned, it's a very open tool, so you can play around and be creative and create triggers that work for you in your business as well as your marketing plan. So let's go and have a look at a trigger from scratch. Of course, as we say, we go ahead and name that. So we're just going to put some details in here and test for now. And then we want to choose what kind of trigger type this is. So as I mentioned, we have the option to create a manual date entry from the job or client card. This is where we specify a particular date, either an installation, so perhaps we've installed a piece of hardware and we want to follow up with that customer at a particular time, or perhaps we want it as an event from a custom field within the ServiceM8 system itself. So here we've selected the second option, and now we're presented with a list of objects that we can have a look at. So the first thing is we're going to have a look at the job card, and now it's going to show us options that we can configure. So we can go in here and we can say date completed or a custom field. As we add custom fields to the system, or if you've had them added, we can have those as options to configure. We can also have when an invoice is marked as the send stamp, payment date, payment processor, all of the various options that you have within ServiceM8. The date that you mark a job as unsuccessful, perhaps you want to create a campaign that follows up with a customer that might not have gone ahead, but over a longer period than is set within the system. You can go ahead and do that, or a date that a quote's been sent, you could send up an advanced follow-up, for example. And so let's go ahead and look at applying unsuccessful. We might have tagged that with a lead source as a badge, and then we could use that particular badge condition, or in this instance we can just say don't worry about any badge conditions, and we can say we want to send out an email to that in response to that criteria. And of course we've got all of our merge fields over here, so you can compile a very personalized email in that sense. And we want to send this particular option out monthly, so we're going to say let's send it every first day, every 6 months, and we want to send it on the day, so we'll send it a message 1 day before it expires. So let's just go back and have a quick look at this example that we've created over here. We have got a trigger type, which is through a custom field. That custom field is the unsuccessful date, so the date that you've marked this particular job or a particular job as unsuccessful. It will automatically send an email out to the client 6 months later on the first day of that 6th month, and we send that message 1 day, or if you want to send it instantaneously, we can send it 0 days before that particular date. So essentially what the system is going to be doing is it's going to be constantly looking at all of your unsuccessful jobs, and as soon as it sees one that is more than 6 months old, it will generate or email automatically the message that you have created in this space. So this is just a very basic example of how you can go ahead and take various conditions and set up a response to a customer in an automated way. So really, it's an advanced messaging system based on certain criteria that you want or have laid out within a trigger. So very simple, very easy to use. If you have any questions or need any additional support, please do not hesitate to contact us at support@serviceguru.co.uk.